Imagine you are a farmer in Australia in the 1930s. You are struggling to make a living during the Great Depression, and you have to deal with drought, pests, and low prices for your crops. But there is one more problem that you did not expect: a horde of giant birds that are eating and destroying your wheat fields. What do? You ask the government to send the army to fight them off. Sounds like a good idea, right? Well, not quite. This is the story of the Emu War, one of the most absurd and hilarious episodes in history, and also a fascinating case study of wildlife management, human-animal conflict, and military failure. The Emu War was the result of a series of unfortunate events that plagued the Australian farmers in the early 20th century. After World War I, many veterans were given land by the government to take up farming, often in marginal areas with poor soil and water. To make matters worse, the Great Depression hit in 1929, causing wheat prices to plummet and farmers to struggle. To add insult to injury, a large migration of emus, estimated at 20,000, invaded the farms, looking for food and water. The emus ate and trampled the crops, damaged the fences, and competed with the livestock. The farmers were desperate and angry, and they demanded the government to do something about the emu menace. Defense Minister Sir George Pearce agreed and ordered to send a military unit to deal with the emus, led by Major Meredith, a veteran of World War I. The unit was equipped with 2 Lewis machine guns, 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and a truck. The plan was simple: find the emus, shoot them, and reduce their population. But the plan soon proved to be anything but simple. The emus were not easy targets. They were fast, agile, and smart. They could run up to 50 kilometers per hour, dodge bullets, and split into small groups. The machine guns were also unreliable, jamming frequently and overheating. The truck was too slow and noisy, scaring away the birds. The operation was a disaster. In the first day, the soldiers only managed to kill 12 emus out of 1,000. In the second day, they killed 40 out of 1,000. In the third day, they killed 100 out of 2,500. The media and the public mocked the soldiers, calling them incompetent and cruel. The government was embarrassed and withdrew the troops. The emus were victorious. The Emu War can be seen as a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, involving various factors and perspectives. From a biological point of view, the emus were simply following their natural instincts, migrating to find food and water, and adapting to the changing environment. The emus are remarkable animals, with a long evolutionary history, a unique anatomy and physiology, and a sophisticated social and communication system. They are also highly resilient and adaptable, able to survive in harsh conditions and cope with threats. From an ecological and economic point of view, the emus were posing a serious threat to the farmers, who were already facing many challenges and hardships. The emus were consuming and spoiling the crops and leaving large gaps in fences where rabbits could enter and cause further problems. The farmers were dependent on the wheat industry, which was vital for the Australian economy, especially during the Great Depression. The soldiers also had to deal with the moral and ethical dilemmas of killing innocent animals, and the public and media scrutiny and criticism. From a political and historical point of view, the Emu War was a reflection of the social and cultural context of the time, as well as a catalyst for change and development. The Emu War was influenced by the legacy of World War I, the impact of the Great Depression, the relationship between the federal and state governments, the role of the military and the media, and the attitudes and values of the Australian society. The Emu War also had some consequences and implications for the future, such as the improvement of the farming conditions and practices, the development of the wildlife conservation and management policies, and the creation of the Emu War legend and folklore. The Emu War was a failed attempt by the Australian government to solve a wildlife problem with military force. It showed that emus are not to be underestimated, and that machine guns are not the best way to deal with them. The Emu War also became a legend, a source of amusement and ridicule, and a reminder of the folly of humans. As Major Meredith later said, if we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. So, the next time you see an emu, don't mess with it. It might be a veteran of the Emu War.